Hi everyone, welcome back with another video on language and the self question. If you recall, my last video also discussed the same question as language and the self from my June 2023 paper. This time I'm exploring the same series, my June 2023, but with a different variant. The main theme of this text raises critical issues about how language, and specifically, we are discussing the manner of speaking here. So, how it shapes the way we speak, how it shapes and reflects our perceptions of individuals, which can lead to social cohesion and division, both. Cohesion and divisions means how it unites the way we speak, how it unites us with others, and how it divides us from others. First, you have to show your examiner a clear level of understanding of the specific points made by any text given to you in exams. Let me show you some of the specific points from this text now. Here we are dealing with how language can shape and reflect how individuals think about each other. So, one of the issues raised by the Kinsler in this text is the idea that speech is a powerful marker of our identity. She says the way you talk may determine who you are friends with, and the way you talk, it determines the job you have. The way you talk, it determines how you see the world. So, you can align this kind of idea with the social linguistic concepts of idiolect and sociolect because idiolect defines a unique accent in dialect. For example, the way you speak, the way you utter some words, and dialect means the variation in the same language. So it defines your idiolect, right? And sociolect means the language of our social group, means as a group how we speak. So Kinsler says that the actively means idiolect and sociolect. It shapes how individuals are perceived by others. And this idea further resonates with Dodgefeld's social identity theory, which says that individuals are known by group membership, and this is how they get positive social identity. If you're known by us group, by a group they are speaking some language, and then you are having recognition in the society. Then there is another issue of speech discrimination. It is written there at more societal and institutional levels, there is a bias against what is perceived as non standard speech. That's a kind of baked in. So, this kind of observation challenges the reality of the linguistic prejudice, where specific ways of speaking a language are valued over others. Individuals whose speech does not follow the perceived standard which the society has set, and it is called social act, may face marginalization. People are also not aware of how hard it can be to feel marginalized based on the speech. It is written in the text. This kind of marginalization can be understood through the lens of Cherish Cramery's muted group theory, which suggests that marginalized groups lack power in societal structures. They may find their voices and the linguistic styles devalued or muted by others. And who are those others? They're dominant groups who control the linguistic norms in the society. We can simply relate this notion of having a non standard speech to Goffman's notion of face threatening acts. And when we are experiencing these face threatening acts, for example, you are speaking in non standard speech, which can be interpreted as a challenge to your own linguistic norms and social order. And others who are listening to your non standard speech, they evaluate you negatively. And here we can connect this face threatening acts towards the speaker, the one who is using non standard speech. So the text implies here that those who perceive their speech as non standard may feel pressurized to accommodate to the dominant speech patterns to avoid discrimination, potentially threatening their own linguistic identity and face. So, this is the point where you can add Giles' CAT, that is communication accommodation theory. Then you can talk about the role of the parents and educators in speech discriminations, means how are they involved in this matter. There is an idea here of stereotypes, which is associated with a certain accents or the dialects, which are basically not innate, means you're not born with an accent or a dialect, because they are socially constructed and transmitted across generations. When we say stereotypes about groups of people can easily lead to prejudice against individuals, you can connect this point to an idea that language can shape thought. Perhaps not in the deterministic way as proposed by the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Instead, you can relate this idea to Leda-Boroditsky key notion. We do understand that language provides categories and frameworks that can influence, but not rigidly determine our cognitive processes. Have you ever thought that why we categorize people? Because, or we categorize people based on their speech patterns, because we have we can have cognitive shortcuts in this way. So we should not waste time in understanding others. Instead, these shortcuts help us to give our biased judgments in no time, even unconsciously.